unofficial Killjoys #2 review, because I'm sure other topics will come up.
Wait, we have a series? We do a series of episodes now? That's
I don't know. It's for us, it's crazy.
I mean, this is the second one in, 2 weeks? Wow.
That's true. That's true. That is a first. We normally have the pop-up shop mentality of it happens, and then it's gone, and sometimes we come back.
Like, I'm pretty sure the last episode dropped, a week after the first one came out.
Yeah, it was only, a week or two ago.
So, yeah, it's, we're on time.
We're on time, and I will say, this is going to be a weird one to talk about, because I think we're both in the same boat of, I really enjoyed it, and I wish it was longer.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about it, so I guess we'll start now.
Yeah, it was really cool to continue the story. It was kind of interesting to see where all the Killjoys had kind of grown up and what jobs they picked and what jobs they took, and get more hints at the larger story. A lot of more and more of this weird They Live influence that I'm really, really digging. But getting a ton more of that, where you see all the cops or have that weird alien-looking face.
And there's also that weird 70s coloring going on too.
Yeah, I will say the entire team, who's doing Lee Ramiro? Is that who's I believe is artist, and then the colorist is
Jordy Beller's on color.
Yeah, who doesn't have a Twitter, which makes tagging things very hard.
Huh? You realize that?
I know, that's one of the few people does not have one, and so anytime I tag, I feel like I'm leaving them out, but not on purpose. It's just if I don't have to put hashtag, and I just feel weird doing that. I feel weird hashtagging a specific person that doesn't have a Twitter. It feels weird.
Or it should be like Gerard's, where it just exists, but no one really uses it anymore.
I still tag it, but that's more so just because other people that follow Gerard just click on everything he's mentioned in. I'll still tag. I miss the days of being able to get an actual Gerard response on things, because he was shockingly good at liking or responding to a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I remember those days. I think he retweeted one of my Pixies tweets at one point.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah, I have a couple where I had one talking about a specific anime that he responded back to, answered, liked, and then retweeted. I was like, oh, okay. And that's it now. Now he's just mysterious off on Instagram sometimes, making ominous, mysterious posts that people break down and look into for 75 hours nonstop.
It's like a Watch Mojo video.
It is. It's better. At least there's some substance there.
Yeah. So speaking of the book, I really love these back covers you've been doing for them.
Yes! I adore them. I'm hoping like crazy that whenever the hardcover or something comes out, we get nice full pages of those, or even posters of those, because I'm loving every single one so far. So far, there's 2 of them, but they've both been great.
So about this issue, since I'm not really sure, just kind of off the cuff random talking about, as far as random references, I really appreciate how Nana is just called Nana.
Yeah.
I was like, that's funny. I like this weird consumerism is bad plot we keep doing.
Yeah.
So
we're getting, again, I think I really see why this wasn't it, because looking back at these ideas, again, they work so well in the comic sphere, but I don't think a lot of these things can be taken out of the comics world without being either labeled as a ripoff or too influenced or too similar or not working in a music video, not working in a show. But they work so well in the comics world, I can totally see why this is a first and foremost comic story and was not, they had to change things to be in the music world or in the other comic world or everything else. It's very, very unique, but it's that weird thing where it's a combination of so many different influences, and it wears those influences proudly, that it works so well because they're so desperate different ideas are coming together in really cool ways.
Totally. Do you think the art looks more anime style to you, or what? Because I was trying to debate that the whole time.
I don't know. It has...
Because some panels look more like it's anime, almost like an 80s style vibe, and other times it doesn't.
I think a lot of the color is that. The color to me definitely has that kind of bright, almost bright, muted anime colors like the 80s and 90s of that weird, Wicked City, Akira, Ghost in the Shell type of vibrant cities that always look dark and dingy. Like it continues that tradition of everything feels kind of dirty and kind of wrong and in a good way.
Yeah.
I could totally see that.
That's one thing I've noticed about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, it has a very unique art style and color style that they complement each other really well. But it's hard to put my finger on because I haven't seen too many other books, especially of recent, like that.
It reminds me, there's a book that came out a couple years ago from Dark Horse called Pop. That was this weird tale about like the media and pop stars and like taking them out. I'm just gonna remember what the actual plot was because I forgot. It was this weird comic that like similar art style to what they're doing now.
I really dig it.
It came out like 2015, so.
What I really dig about it, going back to the anime side of that, is because, especially with Clunan on California 2019, it still feels of that world, but still feels like its own thing. Like, they did this almost impossible balancing act, where you can totally still see how it's Killjoys, but it feels unique and separate from the other comic and the music videos and album. And I'm kind of shocked they're able to keep that up in ways that, again, I didn't see coming.
Totally understand. I mean, it's insane how, like, yeah, it's that thing, but it's almost a separate world almost. Like, I almost want to go back and read the other book and see the comparison now at this point. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I need to. I know I bought the library edition that long ago, so it's sitting over here, and every time I flip through it, I have reread it. It is crazy looking at how different they are, but seeing where you can kind of piece where a little bit of the influences came from, a little bit of the idea started, but totally see how Jay completely changed at some point.
Yeah.
I'm also curious where the story's going, because now both issues, and it feels like more because the first one was double-sized, so it feels like we're almost on issue 3, and I think that's why I keep on in my head fighting, saying all these issues, like, no, we're only 2 issues in, but it feels like, I don't know, I love this world so much, it just feels very welcoming, and like, oh, okay, I'm just ready to exist in this world every time I pick one up, and I don't know where the story's going. Like, every beat so far has been somewhat unexpected, and I have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, my theory, I think, is that some type of corporation against the man plot, but that's just kind of the vibe of the Danger Days characters that my instincts set.
Oh, for sure. But, I think that's, at least in the album, too, that's kind of, you mentioned earlier, that's always been the big Killjoy thing of, art versus consumerism, and where do you draw the line between giving people what they want and then forcing people into wanting what you have?
Yeah, and I think if you look at this list for next issue, apparently that's where the plot apparently really starts going somewhere, which makes sense. It's 6 issues, unfortunately.
I'm gonna say, everyone listen. You kind of got our general idea, but I'm gonna say minor spoilers from here on out, because there is something that happens very early on that is 100% one of those Gerard ideas that he's never really played with in music or other comics, because it's honestly pretty fucking dark in a weird way. So spoiler alert for something that happens very early in the book. The removing the baby embryo and freezing it for later.
I saw that, and I was like, what?
Like, that is so much from, like, when you hear him talk about some of his darker influences and some of his darker ideas, I feel like this is the first time I've really seen one of those, like, okay, that's a very unique idea that I've never seen before of, oh yeah, we didn't do an abortion, we did more of an evacuation.
And I was like, oh, it's like, it's still alive, it's in the freezer next to Nana's empanadas.
Yes. All that. That was great. Those little things that I just didn't see coming, and it's so unique to this book, because I think there are still a lot of people who are expecting this to somehow wrap up and tie into the music and the other book, and I think the more this goes on, the more we see, no, this world is very, very different.
It's so good, though. I mean, that was opening, I was not expecting. I mean, I feel like that kid's obviously Mike's. I feel that's a little too obvious, but I could be totally wrong.
No, yeah, I think that's the whole thing, and seeing that kid seeing the kid grow up, but again, just knowing, oh yeah, that was not an abortion, but not a full thing either. And I guess that would mean that the sister had her twins baby, which adds a whole nother element of weird.
Also, another thing I really like about the book is how he's gone away with references to casual things, like there's a Watchmen smiley.
Yeah.
There's a reference to Batman. There's Mr. Potato in the corner of the book, too.
There's a...
Yeah, I wonder how you get away with just casual stuff like that and not get in trouble with DC at this point.
I really also wonder, I don't know, Donny Cates is probably about to have a bigger issue with that, to be honest.
But there's not much to say on that yet.
Yeah, I know. For anyone listening that hasn't read crossover, I won't spoil it right now, but I will say there's some hints at major characters popping up that there's no way Donny Cates can get the rights to, and I'm very curious to see how he plays with that. I go back to Killjoys. Yeah, no, there's a... I'm curious if it's coming from Gerard, it's coming from Sean Simon, or it's coming from the artist, because like the interesting one to me is the constant Ramones references, because through all my years of loving Gerard Way, My Chemical Romance, everything he's been a part of, I feel like Ramones are one of the things that have just not really popped up a lot. Like whenever he mentions influence, whenever he mentions other things, Ramones is never one of the go-tos or one of the ones he mentions or has ever, or honestly many of the band, like even from that era, you'll hear a lot more Misfits and a lot more Ramones when it comes to pretty much all the MCR guys.
You know, you're right. I've thought about that a couple times, but it's fascinating that's the big thing. I really want to know what that's about, why the Ramones are such a big... I mean, that was the original inspiration for the sound.
Yeah, I'm thinking a lot of... Again, we talked last review about how the sound had a lot to do with when they were making conventional weapons, wanted to do an American band and be an American thing, and maybe because even though Misfits are American, they're so horror-oriented that it kind of can be anywhere. Maybe because Ramones feels like the most true American punk rock band. It's all I can think of. And
argue the Stooges, but there's also that to me because it's the fact they're a gang and it kind of works.
Yeah. Well, and Iggy does, but maybe that's a good point too. Yeah, I don't know, but going back to Ramones just being the fact that they are all like anyone who became Ramone took on the persona of a Ramone sibling. So yeah, maybe that does have something to do with it. Of that, even if you're not family, you are family type of vibe.
Yeah. Also, just looking at the credits, I didn't realize this. The person who wrote Eternity Girl helped out with something.
Oh, that's cool.
I didn't realize that. So I'm not sure what her part was, but somehow she's involved with this book.
That's really cool. I love seeing the more and more I see of all the young Animal people getting to find new homes, either with Gerard, because of Gerard, or other places because they're working Young Animal. Always makes me smile.
Yeah. Which cover did you get for this one?
All of them. Because I'm crazy still.
I wouldn't say you're crazy. It's more hardcore than I am, apparently.
On Killjoys, I can be. I'm trying to cut down on certain things, but I've made the crucial error of, I'm saving money by not buying these. Well, I'll just buy these and more covers for these. Yeah, no, it's but also this is one of the few books that the two titles that always makes it very hard for me personally when I'm buying physically for variants are Spawn and now Killjoys, because all the covers are actually great and by different enough artists where they all have their own vibe and feel like little art pieces from that world.
Yeah.
Like, it's much better than the random, not throw other books under the water, but, like X-Men has a ton of variants for X swords, and a lot of them are just like, oh, this one guy picked every person who has been War from Apocalypse is on the cover. Why? No reason. Where this is, this cool artist that clearly the creative team loves is getting to do a cover that clearly adds a whole nother take on this universe, but still fits in with what's established.
Or it's Marvel Venom month, so hey, here you go.
Yeah.
All the Venom stuff.
Which I that's a whole nother topic, but at the same time, I have no clue who buys that shit. I don't get, going back to consumerism, I've never understood that shit of, oh, it's, you like Venom or you like Spawn? Well, get this book that's connected in no way to them, but the main character is now Venomized or Spawnized or, Carnageized or Nullized or whatever it is.
Just from going to the shop every week, there's a market for it. Don't know who it belongs to, but I've seen a couple people buy it.
It's a weird speculator market people that just like, well, it's going to be worth money because there's only 5 of them made, and I bought all 5. Congratulations. You're just selling to yourself.
I think I'm going to buy the McLean cover for the next issue, which I'm very excited about.
They're so pretty. I'm hoping later on we can get another James O'Barr cover. Because him doing that Doom Patrol cover was so great, and I would love to see if we could get a Killjoys James O'Barr cover.
Or freaking James Harvey one be sick.
That would be. I'm kind of shocked. I'm hopefully will. I don't think, to my knowledge at least, we haven't got a straight up Gerard cover for this one.
We have not. Maybe it's last issue. Maybe we'll get that last issue there.
I hope so, because I always loved for the Killjoy series, Umbrella Academy, or any other story he's done to get that random Gerard piece.
Yeah, because he's done a couple, I think. I'm not sure if it was a Doom Patrol one, but I know there's...
I know.
Neverboy and some other ones.
He's done some really cool ones, and I know everyone who talks about him, so I was like, why in the fuck don't you do your own book or your own covers or your own piece one day? And I know he's hinted at maybe doing that one day, but I would love to see a full book of his art. I think his art is really, really cool, really unique, and has this weird, like, Nick Darrington cross with Jonan Vasquez look that I love. And I'd kill to see more of it, and I'm hoping we do. I mean, his cover to the last Killjoy series was one of my favorite comic covers. Period.
It was pretty good.
I love it. Yeah, no, I'm. The only thing I don't like about this issue is it is back to 27 or however many pages. And that kind of...
That's mainly my only issue with it. I know it was not abstractly we've talked about this whole thing, but the half the amount of pages of the first one kind of bums me out. I wanted more.
I know. So. I don't want to be greedy, but man, I love... Normally, I'm a less is more type of person. Normally, I'm a more get in, get out, leave people wanting more. But this is one of those stories that I genuinely read the first one so fast, even though it was double-sized, that this one just flew by while reading.
Yeah, I think I read the first one like 2 or 3 times.
It's so good. Like,
I'll probably go back and read this again when we get off here.
Yeah. Gerard and Sean Simon are great at having this very fast-paced, frenetic energy-infused book that so many others don't have. I mean, I love so many writers, but I feel like a lot of them always pace things out in comics a bit slower to stretch things out. And Gerard, Sean Simon, there's a few other people I put in that category, but there's not a ton that somehow books feel fast, but also feel like you get a lot.
Yeah. It's definitely got that one.
Yeah, there's very few people who can pull that off, and I'm just ready for more. Every time I see it on a solicitation, every time I see someone post a new cover or anything, I'm like, okay, yeah, I just want it. I'm already all the way in. I know I have so much faith in the creative team that no matter where they go, I'm going to fucking follow.
See, number 3, so let's talk about, Shootout.
Mm-hmm.
And discovering schemes from corporate advisories. I'm excited. I don't feel like waiting December 9th, to be honest with you, but something to look forward to, I guess.
That's the other only bad thing, is because the first issue came out at the end of October, and this issue comes at the beginning of November. So we got, like, really quick hits, really fast-paced. We got, 70 pages of Killjoys in a short amount of time, and now we get to wait a month.
Yeah, which I guess tells me I'll reread the first 2 again.
Yeah. Just read. We can mention, kind of the same topic, Umbrella Academy got renewed for Season 3.
They did. Still have not watched Season 2, but it's a thing.
It's still worth watching.
Oh, I'm going to. I just, I am. I just take forever.
And then, there's while we're talking about that world, you also still have Gerard posting that random photo, and then Frank teasing something happening tomorrow. Don't know if they're connected.
About that. That's crazy.
Don't know if they're connected or just something else. But we are either this week or next week. I can't remember the exact day. It's somewhere along the lines of the 10th anniversary of Danger Days.
That's good to know. I know next week is You Look Like Death.
Yeah, that's
number
true.
3, I think it is.
Yeah, number 3.
So we're halfway through that one.
That story's also been really fun. I'm with the popular Umbrella Academy, and with, I mean, right now Dark Horse not having a ton else besides Umbrella Academy and everything Gerard's doing. I'm hoping we do get all these weird stories they've teased about, like having other spin-offs for all the Umbrella Academy characters. And I'll be honest, keep sending me Killjoy stuff from now forever, and I will. I'm down.
Just give me a whole series about some of those gangs in that first issue.
I agree. Give me that shit, or just honestly, just keep on. I'm kind of shocked at this point that we haven't got any kind of comic of the concept or story for 3 Cheers. That's another one where I'm like, I know you got a weird story in your head for that one. Put that fucker out.
I just picture it like a Johnny the Homicidal Maniac type thing.
It probably would be. It would definitely be similar. I mean, but I'm down. I'm here for it. Put the exact same creative team on it. I'm here for it.
So I think that's the one you could do a James O'Barr cover for really well.
Oh, yeah, that could work. Dude, I won't lie. James O'Barr doing like a weird, his own version of the 3 Cheers cover would be everything I want.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
That is so much of it. That'd be a weird thing. Knowing how much The Crow was an influence clearly on the story of that album, that would be one of those weird moments of completely something coming full circle.
Yeah, which reminds me, we need to do a Crow episode at some point down the line, because we never discussed that like in full.
We do. So. The Crow, both of one of our favorite books, and it's just such a weird property all around. Like,
also super nice creator. Just
yes, James Yano. I have a signature from him, but have not met him. That's
super nice guy.
He seems like it. That's one of those dudes that clearly, when we talk about art meaning something, one of the only people I can genuinely say wrote the story he was passionate about, turned down tons of major contracts, and stayed to just whatever he wanted to do. That being said, I would still kill for James O'Barr to do like a Constantine run or some shit, but
did he like try to do a Batman story, or am I just thinking things?
I think he got some major. It was either Spider-Man or Batman or. I know they offered him a ton, and I know he either tentatively took a contract or maybe took a contract, but like couldn't get past an issue or 2 or some shit like that.
So I knew there was something about it. I wasn't sure.
There was definitely a major character that James O'Barr got offered and was trying to come up with something for and just didn't feel it and didn't. Which is weird because he's done like The Crow and like 5 other books and then a couple variants. I don't know what that dude does in his time, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, last I knew, he just doesn't really do much. He just kind of does his thing. I mean,
yeah, I don't even know. Like, I honestly picture him just listening to a lot of Joy Division and New Order while probably reading like a military magazine.
I mean, apparently he likes Stray Bullets.
Hey, I love Stray Bullets. You know what? That's another category. That's another dude, David Lapham. I would love to see him do some covers and some work for Killjoys.
Lapham's a guy I've read a tiny bit. Like, I read a little bit of Stray Bullets. I enjoyed it.
I love it. It
wasn't my favorite thing, though. So.
Stray Bullets is interesting because depending on what story you read and where you pick up on from, it can be its own thing. Like every different Stray Bullets iteration feels like its own weird world.
Okay, that makes more sense now because I was just like, I don't really get this. This feels like a Tarantino type.
Yeah.
Pre-criminal Brubaker type thing. So.
Yeah, it gets what is it, Sunshine and Roses? I think is one of the newer ones that was really good, and he's done some other really odd work, like he did. I think he did Deadpool Max, which is
I know he did a Batman run at some point.
Yeah, he's had a few runs that are just fucking bizarre. Most of them are really good, but he's another person that has such cool art style that I don't think gets enough credit for how much he's really influenced a lot of, especially the underground scene. I'd love to see him get him and Barr both are people that I would just love to see them get more and more recognition, because it's crazy how much influence, especially Barr has had with Crow, and how few people know that name still.
I think what we need is like an outlaw documentary just about all the outlaw comic guys.
We do, but we don't need it. We've talked about this, except it needs to go past 1993. Like, there's a lot of people that do some great work, and we're fans of a lot of people that do really in-depth articles and videos about a lot of the outlaw books. But it feels like everyone into those kind of just stopped talking about underground and independent books when the year hits like 98 at the longest, and then just ignore everything for the past 20 years.
I mean, a certain channel also that seems to stop at 1998 and just haven't really progressed forward unless it's Chris Weir.
Yeah,
or, something occasionally pops up just to throw its light shade, I guess.
Hey, you know what? That's hopefully what we do, is just talk about the more current weird shit.
Yeah, which is what this podcast seems to be developing into.
And I'm totally happy with that. Like, I love, especially with Killjoys, which I will say, anyone out there listening, don't listen to our shit normally. I know these are like Killjoys focused episodes, but don't worry, we are gonna have plenty of episodes like our old style, where just talking tons and tons of weird shit, because I think it's impossible for me personally. I don't know why, but I like how we're doing this, where it's a review, but also just talking about everything that goes on with influences, what we saw and didn't see, because I think too many reviews are just worried about, is it a 9 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10? And what's the story? I think it's much more important to, like, oh, here's what we saw in it, and the influences we saw, and what we think it's like, and what we think was cool, not just the, 9 out of 10, go buy it.
I mean, to me, every book I read should just be like a 10 out of 10, so...
Yeah.
The only thing that's kind of weird right now is just Ten of Swords, but that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, that's another, that in itself is a whole can of worms, because that could, like, I don't know, that's a good example of, a week ago, it was a 10 out of 10 for me. 4 days...
other co-hosts for that book, honestly.
Yeah. 4 days ago, that changed a little bit. But it could change back. I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm going to keep on. Killjoys is continuing to be the book I am by far most looking forward to every month now. And, man, I'm hoping... I don't know. I don't even know what I'm hoping. I just want more of it. I just want more and more.
I think it's my most look forward to book of the year. Like, I really enjoyed it. It's my top one. The Quorum's probably number 2. Whenever that comes back at this point. Because I guess it kind of fell off, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's COVID. The fun of COVID definitely put a lot of books in this weird production cycle of being put off and put on. Like, On the Stump, I'm finally going to get to finish reading because the trade came out, and because of COVID, I loved to death the first couple issues, and then lost track of it because I genuinely didn't know when it was coming out.
I remember seeing an issue the other day at the shop. I was like, okay, sweet, it's back for you. Because I thought of you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, it's such a good book. It's so good. There's tons of great Kickstarters. That's one thing I am glad that we're going to focus on more, is just books like that I think, maybe coming out in a big way, but don't get a ton of attention. Speaking of that, I know we mentioned it last episode, so we should mention again. I know Children of the Grave got, I think, pushed by a couple weeks, I saw.
Yeah, it comes out next week now.
Okay.
And at some point when you get been on the show, discuss that.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe with the book coming out, maybe next time we talk, one or both of them will be on the show, so we can go in depth on that.
Yeah, they haven't gotten some reviews on it, which is kind of cool.
It looks freaking awesome. I'm legit excited about it. As soon as I find either a way to order it through a shop or directly through them, I'm going to, because everything I've seen looks awesome.
Probably order it from my store, and they would ship it to you, because
that wouldn't be bad. I could do that.
I can give you the information for that, which, by the way, is Acme Comics for anyone who's listening to this and it's like, wow, where does this guy shop at?
Wow.
Yeah,
my local shop, Comixology, doesn't have it right now, but maybe one day.
I'll give you the information so you can get a copy.
Please do.
That'd be kind of cool.
Definitely do, because I want to help support a book like that. Because for anyone who don't know, Children of the Grave, do they live in the same town or town right next to you? Something like that?
Yeah. Ben does, and apparently the other writer's actually in Boston. I didn't know that.
Holy
I thought he was
shit.
in the area. But it's a buddy of mine who works the shop I go to and plays in a band. And make it a crazy horror space story. So like Nameless or something like that.
I will definitely say, if you guys listening out there like what we talk about and like what we're interested in, I will say, seems like almost a spiritual third member of Dangerous Humans, because every time I see him post about anything, it's always either like music or comics, or I think even wrestling, or stuff that we all are also into. So
yeah, that's been for you.
Yeah, he crosses a lot of our same stream, so I'm excited to get him on here one day, and also very excited to read the book, because that book, again, it looks like a weird combination of, from what I've seen, of like some of the like death metal Spawn, but then also My Kim inspired. Kind of, I've seen very little, but it looks awesome. Every influence I can throw out there that I've seen in it, I like.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited, but I'm pretty sure it's next week. So that's something we can talk about, or very wait to get him on the show and figure that out. I need to talk to him. My job's about to get crazy, so I have to work that into.
With all the holiday fun coming up, I'm sure it will be.
Oh boy,
we should.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, we should have said at the beginning, but I also want to thank. I know the Gerard Way Street team and a few people and members from that group on Twitter and people who shared our last episode. Hopefully, we'll listen to this episode too. But thank you to all those people, because it's always nice to see people especially in the Mike Kim and Gerard communities, not only just hit a like, but actually listen to it, and looking at the analytics and seeing how many people that shared it actually listened to it. That means a lot. So thank you guys.
Yeah, seriously, that was crazy. Every time my phone blown up, it's like, wow, what am I doing cool?
Yeah, it's awesome. Look, it's as fun as it is to have a tweet where it's like, I made a funny joke and it got popular. It's a much better feeling to be like, oh, I made this thing and people actually liked it.
Yeah, two dudes rambling about freaking comic books for however long this is. It's insane.
We'll try to keep this one a little shorter here now towards the end of this one. Keep it not so long so you guys don't get our full rambly experience yet. Don't worry. I think next episode will be back full Dangerous Humans off the trail, and our brains wondering whatever topic we want to, instead of trying. This is us trying really hard to stay focused on Killjoys and trying to normally, how I know both of our brains work, every time you've heard us mention another book, that's normally another 15-minute conversation about that book.
Well, it's just like we just abstractly talk about this instead of the thing we're supposed to talk about.
It's hard not to.
Like, it's really random. And there's just random silence and me rambling about, I don't know, puppets and shit.
Yeah, which, man, now see, it almost happened right there.
It almost did, and I stopped it.
It almost happened. You went that way, but I just seen they released some new Puppet Master figures, and I was like, I'm not a huge Puppet Master fan, but they look kind of cool.
I've never seen those.
Dude, they're bizarre, and I'm gonna stop us right there. This is a great example. A great example of what happened to Dangerous Humans, where trying to it's like a ghost in a movie. If we even acknowledge how it works, it's gonna happen.
Hereditary?
Yeah.
Hereditary, where it's like, oh, there's a ghost in the corner, we're just not gonna talk about it. Like,
it kind of is. Like, we know there's a random tangential ghost in the corner that likes to possess and take us down all these crazy paths, and it's easy to let happen. It's fun to let happen. That's a fun ghost over there. But when they drive, our episodes go from 30 minutes to like 2.5 hours. So
it's so true.
I'm gonna spread a good time. I'm gonna try to wrap up and say thank you everyone for listening to us talk more Killjoys, and we will be back shortly with other awesome shit.
Hell yeah.